My stepdad hit me, and Mom took his side. CPS recording. Got him arrested, and she lost custody. Fast. My phone won't stop vibrating, and I'm standing barefoot on Mrs. Navarro's porch across the street, watching 2 police cars box in our driveway like it's some kind of movie, except it's my house, my lawn, my mum's curtains twitching behind the glass, and my stepdad's voice still echoing in my skull from 10 minutes ago. The screen is a wall of missed calls. Mum, 7. Unknown, 3. Aunt Rania, school counselor, and a number saved as CPS, Ms. Keene. The family group chat is exploding so fast the preview can't even load the new messages. It's just, "What's going on?" and "Is this about you?" And my grandmother's all caps, "Answer your mother now." Like my safety is a group project. Across the street, my stepdad is on the front lawn in his socks, hands out like he's offended the universe would even accuse him of anything. He keeps looking around for someone to back him up, like he expects the neighbors to clap and say, "Yeah, he's a great guy. Let him go." One cop is talking, calm, practiced, while the other is already moving in behind him. My mum bursts out the front door with her phone glued to her ear, hair half wet like she was trying to look normal, when everything is not normal, and she spots me across the street and her face twists. Fear first, then fury, because she knows. She knows exactly why they're here. She just didn't think it would ever land on her doorstep. My hands are shaking so badly I nearly drop my phone when CPS, Ms. Keene, calls again. I answer on the first ring, because I can't breathe with it buzzing. "I'm here," I whisper, like speaking too loud will make the cops disappear. "I'm across the street. I can see them." Miss Keene's voice is steady and clipped, like she's holding the whole situation in a box, so it doesn't spill everywhere. "Stay where you are," she says. "Do not go back inside. Officers are making contact now. Are you injured right now?" My throat closes around the word yes, because if I say it out loud, it becomes more real. But I force it out anyway. "My cheek," I say. "My arm. He... I stop because I can hear my mum's voice rising, screaming at the cops, and my stomach flips. My brother, technically my stepbrother, but we've been forced to call each other siblings at family dinners like that makes the bruises go away. Posts in the group chat. This is why she's a liar. She does this for attention. 3 people heart reacted immediately. My aunt replies, "Don't say that. Just tell us what happened." My grandmother replies, "She has always been ungrateful." And then someone, of course someone, drops a screenshot from months ago, one of my mum's texts that I'd buried so deep I forgot it existed. "Stop provoking him. If you didn't mouth off, none of this would happen." Under it, my cousin types, "Wait, she said that?" Like they're only just now noticing the pattern. Across the street, the second cop reaches for my stepdad's arm, and my stepdad jerks away, loud and offended. "Don't touch me," he barks. "This is my house." He's still performing, still trying to be the victim. My mum runs up like she's going to physically block them, waving her phone in the air. "This is insane," she shouts. "She's dramatic. She records everything. She sets him up." And my whole body goes cold because she just said the quiet part out loud. She records everything, as if that's my crime, not his hands. Ms. Keene says, "We have the recording," and I swear I feel the earth tilt. Because until that sentence, this all still felt like it could evaporate if someone decided I was exaggerating. The cops don't argue with my mum. They don't debate feelings. The cop closest to my stepdad says something short, official, and then the handcuffs click on. It's such a small sound for such a huge moment. My stepdad's face snaps toward my mum, wild and panicked. "Tell them," he shouts. "Tell them she lies." My mum looks at him, then looks at me across the street, and her eyes harden like she's choosing a side in real time and trying to pretend she didn't choose it years ago. My mum starts calling again, over and over. So I finally do the thing I've never done in my life. I decline her call while I'm watching her watch him get arrested. I hit decline once, then again. Then I text one sentence with shaking thumbs, because I can't let her drag me into the old loop where she cries and I fold. "Do not contact me. Talk to CPS." The message shows delivered, and she reads it immediately. Those little red receipts are the most terrifying proof sometimes. And she looks straight at me across the street, like she can see the words through the air. Her mouth forms something I can't hear, but I know what it is. "How dare you?" To understand why this feels unreal, you need to know what my mum was saying about me before today, and what she trained me to believe was normal. I'm 16. I've lived in the same house since I was 9, back when it was just me and my mum, and it was small and messy and ours. She used to be warm then. Not perfect, but warm. When she met Karim, my stepdad, she turned into someone else slowly, like a dimmer switch. At first, it was little things. "Don't talk back," she'd hiss when he corrected me too hard. "He had a long day," she'd whisper when he slammed doors. "He's just strict," she'd say when he took my phone for a week because I rolled my eyes. Everyone around us called him a good provider. Everyone acted like the fact he paid bills was a hall pass for everything that happened inside the walls. Karim didn't start with hitting. He started with control. He'd joke about my body when I ate. He'd joke about my grades when I didn't get perfect marks. He'd stand in the doorway when I was trying to leave the room and smile like it was funny that I had to squeeze past him. He'd take my headphones and throw them on the couch if he didn't like the music. If I reacted, he'd say, "See? She's unstable." If I stayed quiet, he'd say, "Finally, respect." The first time he hit me wasn't even the worst hit. It was the first time my mum made it clear what my life was going to be. I was 12. I dropped a glass in the kitchen and it shattered. Karim exploded like I'd done it on purpose. He grabbed my wrist hard enough that my hand went numb and shoved me back into the counter. My mum saw the whole thing. She went still for a second, eyes wide, and then she looked at the broken glass on the floor like that was the emergency. "Why are you so clumsy?" she snapped at me. Not him. Me. Later, in my room, she told me in a soft voice, "Don't push him. You know how he is. He'll calm down." I tried for years to be the version of me they said would keep things peaceful, quiet, helpful, invisible. I cleaned without being asked. I did dishes like my life depended on it. I stopped inviting friends over because Karim made comments that made my skin crawl. Not even always dirty, just too close, too knowing. If I had a friend at the door, he'd stand behind my mum and stare, like he was memorizing them. My mum would laugh nervously and say, "He's protective." I learned to tell people I was busy. I learned to live small. School was the only place I could breathe, and even that got contaminated. Karim would show up to pick me up early and stand in the office with his arms crossed, smiling at the receptionist like he was a hero dad. If I looked uncomfortable, he'd pinch my arm in the car where no one could see and say, "Fix your face." My mum would sit in the passenger seat and stare out the window like she was somewhere else. The thing people don't get about this kind of house is that you start doubting your own reality. Not because you're stupid, Because you're trained. Every time I tried to say something, my mum would redirect it into my fault. You're dramatic. You're sensitive. You provoke him. She'd say it so smoothly it started to sound like truth. Kareem would repeat it like a mantra. She's crazy. She lies. She wants attention. Sometimes he'd say it about me while I was sitting right there at the dinner table. My mum would nod along, then later tell me, if you didn't react, he wouldn't say these things. I started writing things down when I was 14. Not for poetry. Not for therapy. For proof. Dates. What happened. What was said. I didn't even know who I'd show it to. I just knew that if I didn't record reality somewhere, they would keep rewriting it in front of my face until I believed them. The night everything shifted was 3 weeks ago. Kareem came home angry because his boss had yelled at him. I knew the signs. The way he kicked off his shoes too hard. The way he slammed the fridge. The way he spoke to my mum like she was an employee. I stayed in my room. I kept quiet. I did everything right. He still found a reason. He barged in without knocking and saw my homework spread out on my bed. What is this? He snapped. Like paper offended him. I said, school. He mocked my voice. I tried to stand up and he shoved my books onto the floor. I reached for my phone because my hands moved on instinct. Get help, get proof. And he saw it. That's what set him off. He grabbed my phone, slammed it against the wall, and then, so fast I barely processed it, his hand hit my face. Not a gentle slap, not a warning. A hit that made my ears ring and my eyes water instantly. I stumbled, and my shoulder hit the doorframe, and he stepped closer like he wanted me to shrink into the wall. My mum came running because of the noise. She saw me with tears on my face, and my cheek already swelling, and she didn't go to me. She went to him. Kareem, she pleaded, touching his arm like he was the one in danger. Stop. Stop. He shoved her hand away and snarled, see what she does? She records me. She's trying to ruin my life. My mum turned to me, and I will never forget the look. Like I was the intruder. Like I was the threat. Why would you do that? She whispered, disgusted. Why are you trying to destroy our family? That's when I realized. She wasn't trapped. She was invested. I slept with my door locked that night, and my dresser shoved in front of it, because the lock barely worked. The next morning at school, I wore makeup I'm not even good at to cover the bruise. My friend Layla saw it anyway. She didn't even ask at first. She just stared at my face and said quietly, "That's not from falling." I tried to laugh it off. My laugh sounded fake even to me. Layla walked me to the counselor's office, like she was escorting me out of a burning building. I kept saying, "No, no, it's fine," because that's what you say when you're terrified of what happens next. The counselor, Mr. Dwyer, didn't say, "Are you okay?" in the soft, useless way. He said, "Tell me what happened," and then he closed the door and didn't let me minimize it. He asked specific questions. He wrote notes. He looked at my arms when I hesitated. I didn't even realize how many bruises I had until someone said the word pattern. CPS got involved faster than I thought possible. Ms. Keene met me at school the next day with a calm face and eyes that didn't flinch. She explained things in a way that didn't feel like a lecture. She asked if I felt safe going home. I said yes, because no felt like betraying my mum, even after everything. That's how deep the wiring goes. Ms. Keene gave me a card and said, "If anything happens, call. If you can't call, find a way to signal. You don't have to manage this alone." I nodded like I understood. I didn't fully. I was still living in the world where adults saw it, and still did nothing. Then Karim found out CPS had been contacted. I didn't even tell him. My mum did. She told him like she was warning him about a storm. That night she cornered me in the kitchen while he was in the shower and hissed, "What did you say?" I said, "The truth." Her face tightened. "You're going to get him in trouble," she said. Like that was the tragedy. "You're going to ruin everything. Do you want us to be poor again?" I said, "He hit me." She snapped, "Stop saying it like that." Like the wording was the issue. 2 days later was the night I recorded him. Not because I was trying to be sneaky, because I was scared, and I'd learned that fear without proof becomes a story other people tell about you. Karim was drinking, pacing, ranting about ungrateful kids, about false accusations, about how girls like you ruin men. My mum stood behind him, nodding, feeding it with little murmurs like, "I know, baby," and she doesn't appreciate you. I sat on the edge of the couch, hands clasped, trying to look neutral. My phone was on my lap under a blanket. I hit record without looking, because my fingers knew where the button was by then. He started yelling directly at me. He called me names I won't even type, because seeing them makes my chest go tight. He told me if CPS came back, he'd teach me what real trouble looks like. He stepped toward me, and my whole body went cold. And then he hit me again, hard enough that my head snapped to the side, and I tasted metal. I fell back against the couch arm, and my mum didn't move toward me. She moved toward him, palms up, saying, "Karim, not the face," like she was managing optics, not violence. And in the recording, clear as day, you can hear her say, "She deserves it. She won't stop." That's the line that killed whatever hope I had left. The next morning I went to school with my phone trembling in my hand, like it was a live grenade. I showed Mr. Dwyer. He didn't look shocked. He looked furious in that controlled adult way. He called Ms. Keene immediately. They had me sit in a small office while they listened. Nobody asked me if I was sure. Nobody told me I was dramatic. Ms. Keene's face didn't change much while she listened, but her voice changed when she finished. It got colder. "You did the right thing," she said. "We're acting today." That brings me back to now, standing across the street while the cops cuff Karim, and my mum screams like I stabbed her. After they take him, Ms. Keene arrives in a plain car and walks up to Mrs. Navarro's porch, where I'm sitting with my knees pulled to my chest. She crouches, so she's level with me. "Your stepfather is being arrested based on the recording and the injuries documented," she says. "You're not going back inside today." I nod too fast. My whole body is buzzing like it doesn't know whether to collapse or run. My mum finally crosses the street, ignoring the cops still in the driveway, ignoring Ms. Keene's presence like she can bully her out of existence. She storms up the steps, eyes wild. "Look at you," she spits, "sitting here like you're some victim." Her voice cracks. "Do you know what you've done? Do you know what you've taken from me?" Ms. Keene steps between us. "Ma'am," she says firm, "you need to step back." My mum points at me over Miss Keene's shoulder. "She recorded us," she shrieks. "She's been trying to destroy us for years. She's jealous because Karim actually disciplines her. She—" "Stop," Ms. Keene says louder now. "Your child reported abuse. We have corroborating evidence. This is not a debate." My mum's face twists. She looks right at me and goes soft for 1 second, like she's trying a different tactic. "Baby," she says, voice suddenly sweet, like honey over broken glass. Come home. We'll talk. You don't need these strangers. You have me. It would have worked a year ago, maybe even 6 months ago. That's what terrifies me. How close I've lived to folding. I stare at her and I hear her voice in the recording saying, "She deserves it." I see her standing behind him, nodding. I feel the sting on my cheek again, the way my whole head rang. "No," I say. My voice shakes, but the word stands up. My mum's sweetness vanishes. "Fine," she snaps. "Go then. Go be dramatic. Don't come crawling back." Ms. Keene tells her she needs to leave. My mum refuses. A cop steps closer. My mum finally backs down, but not without one last look at me like I'm a traitor. The next hours happen fast in the way nightmares do. Ms. Keene drives me to a clinic where a nurse photographs the bruises and asks questions in a calm voice, like she's done this 1,000 times. Then we go back to school to pick up my bag, because I'm not going home. My phone keeps buzzing. Family members are choosing sides in real time, like it's a sport. My grandmother texts, "You will regret this." My aunt texts, "I'm coming to get you. Don't answer anyone else." My stepbrother posts again, "She's ruining my dad's life." I watch people like posts calling me a liar, and it feels like my insides are floating. That night, I stay at my aunt's apartment on the other side of town. She doesn't ask me to explain everything. She just gives me a hoodie, makes tea, and says, "You're safe here." I burst into tears in her kitchen so hard I can't breathe. Not because I'm sad, but because my body finally realizes it's allowed to stop bracing. The custody part happens quicker than I expected, and it's brutal in a boring, official way. Ms. Keene tells me the next day that my mum is under investigation too, not for hitting me, but for failing to protect me and actively enabling it. My mum tries to spin it. She tells CPS I'm mentally unstable. She tries to say I edit recordings. She claims I hit myself. She throws every ugly stereotype she can find at me like mud. But she forgets one thing. When you've been living in a house where truth gets rewritten every day, you start collecting reality, like it's oxygen. The recording isn't just Kareem yelling. It's him admitting he hits me to teach respect. It's my mum saying I deserve it. It's my mum calling me a liar in the same breath she tells him not the face. There are also school records, nurse visits, counselor notes, attendance dips, my grades dropping the exact weeks things got bad. There's Layla's statement. There's Mrs. Navarro saying she heard shouting more than once. There's my aunt showing up with my old diary pages that have dates and details. In court, my mum tries to cry pretty. She wears a soft sweater. She talks about how she did her best. She says Kareem was stressed. She says she never thought he'd go that far. She turns toward me with wet eyes and whispers, "Tell them you want to come home." Like she thinks the room is still our kitchen, and she can still control the story with a look. I don't speak much because Ms. Keene and the lawyer tell me not to carry the whole thing on my shoulders. But when the judge asks me one direct question, "Do you feel safe with your mother?" I say the truth in the simplest way I can. "No," I say, because she watched it happen and blamed me. My mum makes a sound like she's been stabbed. She shakes her head, dramatic, like I'm the cruel one. Kareem isn't even there. He's in custody. My mum is alone at the table, and for the first time I see it clearly. She chose him because choosing him meant she didn't have to face what her life had become. The judge grants temporary custody to my aunt that day. Fast. No long speech. Just decisions. My mum loses it in the hallway afterward. screaming that my aunt stole me. My brother's friends message me calling me names. My grandmother sends a voicemail saying I'm dead to her. And my mum sends the text that finally severs something in me. If you loved me, you would have stayed quiet. I stare at it for a long time. Then I screenshot it. I forward it to Ms. Keene. And I don't reply. Weeks pass. Kareem's case moves forward. My mum tries to contact me through other people. She sends gifts to my aunt's door like that erases bruises. She tells relatives she lost custody because CPS is corrupt. She posts vague quotes about betrayal. She never once texts, "I'm sorry I didn't protect you." Not once. The closest she gets is, "You didn't have to ruin us." I start sleeping through the night for the first time in years. Not perfectly. I still jolt awake sometimes, thinking I hear footsteps in the hallway. But the silence in my aunt's apartment is real silence, not the kind that means danger is building. The final beat comes on a random Tuesday, when my phone lights up with a call from an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer, because part of me is still trained to respond. It's my mum, voice smaller than I remember. "Hi," she says, like we're normal. "I just wanted to tell you, Kareem is blaming you. He says you set him up. He says you—" I cut her off, calm. "Why are you calling me?" She pauses. "I'm your mother." "And you chose him," I say. My voice is steady in a way that shocks me. "You saw what he did. You heard what you said. You still chose him." Silence. Then she tries the old move. Softness, guilt, rewriting. "You don't understand what it's like," she whispers. "I was trying to keep the family together." "There was no family," I say. "There was you and him, and me surviving it." Her breath catches like she's offended I'm not comforting her. "I'm not your therapist," I add, because I need her to hear the boundary as a sentence, not a feeling. Do not call me again. If you want to speak to me, you go through CPS. If you show up here, we call the police. "You do that to me?" she says, voice sharpening. "Yes," I say, "because you did worse to me for years." Then I hang up before she can pull me back into the loop. I block the number. I sit there with my phone in my hand, heart pounding, waiting for guilt to crush me like it always used to. It doesn't. Instead, I open a new contact in my phone and save it as CPS, Ms. Keene, and right under it, I save another one, Aunt Rania. Home. I put the phone face down. I walk into the kitchen where my aunt is making dinner, like the world is allowed to keep going. And for the first time, the quiet in my chest isn't fear. It's space.